Good evening and welcome to Essay Today. I'm Leslie King and for Chris Luther. Tonight I'll bring you all the latest from last night's Student Association meeting. Also, President Allie Curtis will give out her weekly address to the student body, and she'll sit down with us to discuss a variety of topics on our roundtable. But we begin tonight with campus headlines. The Syracuse University Library will stop its electronic course reserve service at the end of this semester. This change was prompted by a decrease in requests by more than half this past year. E-reserves are electronic articles from the library which are posted directly onto Blackboard. The discontinuation of this service will not affect the accessibility of articles for students. The Connective Corridor Committee is accepting a second round of applications for grants to improve properties along the Connective Corridor routes. The committee has $250,000 to give to organizations and companies for a facade grant. The committee will hold an information session for interested applicants Friday at the warehouse. Are you ready to get healthy? Well, next week would be the perfect time to start. Monday, April 15th, kicks off SU's Wellness Week. The Health and Wellness Division of the Student Division of Student Affairs will put on a week of healthy activities, including exercise classes and a barbecue on the quad for students. And now here is SA President Allie Curtis with this week's campus address. Allie, good evening.
Good evening, Leslie. As always, it's great to be here. We're coming off of a very exciting meeting last night. Vice President Dwayne Ford initiated a very great discussion we had within the Assembly about what issues we really want to focus on and get down to business on within SA. Of course, I talked about the new task force for a diversity council that I'll be working on with two of our representatives, which we're welcoming a ton of new students into. So we're tackling diversity on my end of it, but then when Dwayne led the meeting, he decided that we'd go a different direction that we all are very excited to tackle, which deals with advising on campus and course selection, student hunger, which has become a very prevalent issue on campus, as well as the overall issue of tuition. So we're moving forward with that. We also elected a new recorder, so we welcome Nick Bonifilia into our cabinet. We think that this is going to be a great addition to what we're doing, and we're seeing a lot of great things come from our student representatives as well. On the legislative side of things, we had one of our representatives, Sean Dinan, propose a bill essentially stating that we don't support the limiting of off-campus housing, which the Syracuse Common Council is looking to do. So it's great that we had a lot of student support from the undergraduates there, and we also had a representative from the graduate student organization, Vice President Patrick Neary, come and express their concerns with this as well. We also had a resolution from NYPIRG, and we're going to see one from the divestment group in the coming week. So we have a lot of exciting things on the table that we are looking to tackle and deal with here on campus.
Thank you, Allie. And coming up, we'll have the latest issues that were discussed in the Student Association meeting. You're watching SA Today. We'll be right back.
That magnet to try and get it back. Cool. Does it work? Kinda. Nice. Yeah, but that's not my cat. Gotta keep working on it. See ya.
Anything's possible. Keep thinking. Get started on your own inventions or just play some games at inventnow.org.
CitrusTV News Wednesdays live at 6 with Chris Wilner and Alexa Grace. It's a beautiful day.
Every night at 6, CitrusTV goes out live to inform the masses on the day's events, but the true magic at Citrus lies behind the desk with all of our producers, our writers, and our photographers that pull these stories together. Just makes for incredible television and a really rewarding learning experience.
You know, as a freshman, I came in not knowing much about anything, and now as a senior, I have the opportunity to help freshmen out and teach them, and it's the best thing I could ever do.
It's a beautiful day.
Cocina a la temperatura adecuada usando un termómetro para alimentos. Mantén tu familia a salvo. Visita foodsafety.gov/español.
Do you like this top? It's so gay. Really? Yeah, it's totally gay.
You know, you really shouldn't say that.
Say what?
Well, say that something's gay when you mean it's bad. It's insulting. What if every time something was bad, everybody said, "Oh, that's so girl wearing a skirt as a top"?
Oh, you are.
Those are cute jeans, though. When you say that's so gay, do you realize what you say? Knock it off.
Welcome back. At last night's SA meeting, the association voted on appeals from last week's budget meeting. The students decided to pass fully, partially, and non-funded bills. These will be the last budget proposals approved by the Assembly for the rest of the semester. The Assembly also voted to approve former co-PR chair Cara Johnson to become the full-time PR chair for the remainder of the 57th session. Among the members moving up last night was Nick Bonifilia. Nick was elected unanimously as the new Secretary Recorder after former Recorder Beleen Crisp decided to resign due to commitment issues. Beleen said that she would rather spend her time in SA focusing on issues close to her, such as safety on campus and working with DPS. Nick seemed very excited about his new position.
I've been one of the people that always raises issues, and I feel like that's what we need in cabinet is open communication, constructive criticism.
During the meeting last night, cabinet members also gave reports about their progress within the association. Among those reports was President Allie Curtis's report on her trip to D.C. Allie said that while in our nation's capital, she met with Dean Langford to discuss changing issues of segregation on campus as well as improving SA's involvement with admitted students' days and changing the way elections for SA vice president are run. The president would choose their vice president during the campaign instead of choosing them after the election so that there will be no surprises. The Student Life Committee also spoke about improving life on campus for students. Some improvements they mentioned were umbrella covers and toilet seat covers in Shine and Bird Library, cleanliness in residence halls, notes from health services to excuse students from classes due to health issues, a bike repair station, and an essay welcome booklet for freshmen during orientation. The meeting last night was led by sophomore Vice President Dwayne Ford. Dwayne talked about his experience leading his first SA meeting.
Definitely had a little bit of butterflies before the meeting, just because obviously it's my first real time presiding over a meeting.
A final issue brought up at last night's meeting was Bill 57.246, proposed by Assemblymember Sean Deanan, a bill entitled The Student's Right to Fair Housing, and it was passed unanimously by the Assembly. The bill will help students ensure that that they maintain student privacy and that there is no segregation against students for housing simply because they are students. And coming up next, President Allie Curtis will join us to discuss various topics on our roundtable. Stay with us here on SA Today.
Danse, balancez la cadence, ondule bien tes hanches, au bal du dimanche.
You didn't give up on sex. Don't give up on birth control either. There are more methods than you think. Find yours at bedsider.org.
Learning how to kickflip 6 stairs takes determination. So will getting into college. I've got what it takes. So do you.
CitrusTV News Thursday is live at 6 with Amy Littman and Ted Goldberg.
It's a beautiful day. My favorite part about CitrusTV News is getting hands-on experience and being able to do things far before I ever got to do them in my classes. And I love doing it with all the people here who are passionate about journalism and who also want to spend their lives doing news.
CitrusTV has given me the opportunity to explore my love for meteorology. It's allowed me to report on the ever-changing Syracuse weather, and it's helped me develop a passion that I'll have for the rest of my life.
It's a beautiful day.
Welcome back, and Allie Curtis is back with us for our roundtable discussion. Allie, thank you so much for joining us today.
Of course.
My first question is, last night, Dwayne Ford, who led the meeting, did excellent job, as his first meeting.
I was very proud.
Yes, I'm sure you were. He set up these 3 initiatives that the Student Assembly kind of came up with, about hunger on campus, tuition, and advising, and just kind of, things that students want to see improved and changed.
Right.
Now, has anything like this been done in the past?
Well, basically, we realized that we needed to call for action, and there are so many issues that come up, and of course, through all of these events, we talked about how, the president comes in with a vision, and while I've still been making sure that we're focusing on community service, getting students involved, and internship problems that may come about, since that was what I campaigned on, aside from just doing what the president has set up, we realized that a deficiency of SA has been really being responsive to what's going on campus and focusing on these issues. That's why I worked to put together the Diversity Council Task Force with several other students who have realized this is at the forefront of our concerns. And then we had a cabinet meeting prior to Assembly last night to discuss how we can tackle these issues. So as Dwayne led the meeting, he decided it would be best if we had 5 minutes of just discussion generally for SA to get things out on the table. And of course, we had a great list. I mean, there were much more than just 3 things that came forth from this conversation. But after voting, we realized these were probably the biggest and also most feasible to tackle. Of course, the feasibility in all of these varies, and the ability for us to do them quickly also varies. But we're hoping to have them done by the end of this session, and some of these sooner rather than later.
Excellent. Now, when can we expect to see some of these changes take place, within the next year, 2 years, by graduation for, seniors?
Right. Well, a lot of what has to go into this right now is research, and we have to research benchmark schools and the things that we have available here on campus. This is researching who we reach out to, what the actual deficiencies are, and what students want to see changed as well. So something like tuition, of course, that's much broad, and that's much more broader, and that's a thing that students always want to see change, so it's going to be something that we're bringing to the forefront of our discussion and our research, whereas something like student hunger could be achieved much more quickly down the line. So hopefully we'll have food drives coming up soon, and we'll also be working on the PR efforts to promote the food pantry that already exists for students who can't afford meal plans or are having problems paying for food in general. So they're all very different, but we're hoping to get them out there and get the ball rolling on these and really engage our members, because that's something that we care about, and giving them some more leadership and some more ownership over what it is that we're doing.
Excellent. And, 2 of these, advising and tuition, those are big overarching university type issues.
Right.
And hunger is definitely something that I think you don't hear about as much from the students here on campus. That's something that was relatively new, that was brought up at the Assembly last night. When did that start, and what is something that the Assembly hopes to do with that specific issue?
Well, I think this is something you don't hear about as much because it's a more personal issue, and for some it's not something that they really want to share. If you can't afford meal plans, or you're having a problem paying for food in general, it's something that can be a touchy subject, and it's not something you necessarily bring up with your peers, whereas everyone always has gripes with advising, and then with our tuition as well. So this is something as an assembly we feel passionate about, because we can actually stand up as student leaders and say that this is an important issue to the students on this campus. And it was something that our JRB chairwoman, Lindy Folsom, brought up, and because of her work within the association, outside of the association, it's something that she has become aware of, and with some of the leadership training she's received off campus, she felt that this would be an appropriate time to tackle this. So we're actually having, for all of us in SA, we're having a big leadership seminar this weekend that hopefully will help us with our grassroots ability and also team building. So I think it's going to be very beneficial for us moving forward with this and all of these other initiatives to really tackle them in a much more effective manner than we've seen assemblies do in the past.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for being on the show with us today, Allie.
Always a pleasure.
That is all for this edition of SA Today. For Allie Curtis, I'm Leslie King, and for Chris Luther, and come back here tomorrow for Citrus TV News, live at 6 on the Orange Television Network. Have a great night, Syracuse.